I hope you are good too.
Uh, I'm also doing well. It's rare to see this kind of state. In fact, I wonder why these issues have been allowed to fester till now. Though we are now hearing from you. Why?
Okay, thank you for having me. You see, it shouldn't look like this is the first time the union is up in arms with this third-party contract. And before I even come in, let me clarify that this fight is not about KGL alone. It's about all the third-party contracts, including KGL. You mentioned Blue Star Lotto, Luma, KGL, Grand Lotto, and so on and so forth. In the past, we have written series of petitions to the former board in charge and raising some serious concerns, particularly with regards to how these contracts are an infringement on the Act 722, Act 2006, which regulates national lotto. We had a series of engagement with the past administration, discussed these issues. We were promised that they were going to take radical steps towards addressing this, but nothing was done. Okay? But at the same time, you will agree with me that in putting up certain fights, you must also get the timing right. You understand? Now, let me clarify certain discussions that was going on yesterday. We have national lotto and we have private lotto.
Okay.
Now, private lotto is where you have somebody who is interested in running lotto. You go and purchase the machine that you are going to use to do your own draw. For instance, Obri, we have Golden Souvenir, we have Bag, we have Vision 2000, and so on and so forth. They do their own lottery, bought their own machines, and they do their own draws. That is private lotto. Then we have, of course, national lotto, whereby the government purchases their own machines. We have a space, we do our draw, people stake, we pay wins, and we pay commissions. That is national lotto. But you see, over the years, if you look at the activities of the former board, they hide under the discretion they have under the Act 722 to collaborate with people to do this business. And if you allow me, let me just quickly take you to the acts. If you get the Lottery Act 722 and you go to Section 2, subsection 4, this is what they said they used to lancing third parties to take over our business. And I read, the authority may, the operative word is may, in consultation with the minister, operate any other game of chance or enter into collaboration, partnership, or joint venture with any person, society, association, or corporate entity to operate a game of chance in accordance with existing laws, underline. If you want to go into collaboration with third parties to do national lotto, you must do that in accordance with existing laws. What are the existing laws? The law is the Act 2006, Act 722. I take you to Section 32 and 33. If you go there, the law establishes what is called lotto account, which is an account in the name of National Lottery. And this account, every stake of lottery must go to this account. There is nowhere in this act that says that if you license somebody to do national lotto, the revenue should be going to the person's private account. You understand what I'm saying? A licensed LMC must be paid a commission, which is charged on the lotto account.
Okay.
I'm imploring you to get a copy of the Act 2006 Act 722 of National Lotto. And with these specific provisions I'm mentioning, get them down and read it to yourself. If you are licensed at an LMC or you are collaborating to do National Lotto with NLA, you are an agent. And NLA becomes more or less, what is it even called? The principal.
Okay.
So you must be paid a commission based on the volume of sales that you make, and that is what we do to our LMCs. You get what I'm saying? Yes. So on no account must management go into contract with any third party whatsoever, and revenue, instead of going to the lotto account according to section 32, 33, from which even wins are supposed to be paid and commissions are also chargeable, on no account should all these things be going into a private account. And if you read it well together with the section 33, commissions and even prizes, or what we call wins, if you stake lotto and you win, must also be charged on the lotto account. But we have a situation where all these third-party contractors are more or less principals, and they are turning national lotteries to more or less an agent. We asked management in the past, you said you have entered into a revenue sharing agreement with somebody. Ask them whether they know the revenue that accrues to all these third-party contractors. We don't know. You are into a revenue sharing agreement with these third-party contractors. How much is the revenue in the kitty before you even talk about sharing agreement? Nobody knows. So how do we allow this to stand? You see, and like I said, if you look at section 32, 33, it clearly states that the risk and reward that is associated with the consolidated fund is chargeable on the lotto account. And if you look at the KGL contract, it imposes losses on this consolidated fund, and the other third-party contract are imposing heavy losses on the consolidated fund since 2019, when the contract started. Because there's one thing that also we have to also pay attention to. In 2013, when KGL contract started, NLA at that time was paying 213 for every 1 Ghana cedi win, which means that if you take lotto 1 cedi and you win, NLA is going to pay you 213 cedis. But when KGL came on board and other third-party contractors, they were paying 240. You, a regulator that is even clothed under the Act as a monopoly, you claim that you have licensed somebody to come and compete with you, and you allow this person to even pay more than you yourself. So what are you doing to yourself? If we want to even allow competition within the industry, your competitor is now even paying 240 Ghana cedi for 1 Ghana cedi win, and you are paying 213. So this situation has degenerated to a situation where we were losing customer base. So NLA was also forced to change their prices payment from 213 to 240. So for every 1 Ghana cedi win, we were losing almost 27 cedis. All these things culminated to the problems that NLA was bedeviled with. Like I said, I cannot make this discussion without making particular reference to this act. One of the acts that management claims that they used to even license third-party contractors is the Veterans Administration Ghana Act 2012 Act 844. If you read this act, the only place this act made mention of lottery is in section 22. With your permission, let me read. Power to hold lotteries. The administration, this is Veterans Administration Ghana. Take note. The administration may hold lotteries or raffles or similar games for the furtherance of its object in accordance with the National Lotto Act 2006 at 722 and the Gaming Act 2006 at 721. So what this means is that no board can convince anybody that they are hiding under Veterans Administration Act to be licensing people to do National Lotto, because this act is even subservient to the National Lottery Act 2006 at 722. You understand what I'm saying? So the board has taken a decision that has created problems for NLA over the years with right to have these situations addressed. But nothing was done. Until such a time where we have a new management. Currently, we have a new management who has come in, saddled with financial constraints. As I speak to you now, we are in the middle of salary negotiations. And the current director now, I don't know how he's going to deal with it. So we need to help management. We need to help them by making sure that the presidency come in. They should listen to us and at least even appoint somebody with the knowledge of how this lottery market even works. Because over the years, all the boards we've had, you have people with no knowledge of lotteries. And that is why they sit and do some of these things. That creates financial problem and a drain on the consolidated fund. So it's a message we are sending to the president. And in fact, we have a series of activities that we are lining up, including even demonstrating. Go to the presidency and present him with a petition that we've given to the Attorney General to look into, so that this anomaly, all these contracts need to be reviewed, at best even cancelled. We are not saying that Blue Star, Luma, or KGL, for that matter, should not do National Lotto. They are at liberty to do National Lotto. But at best, we can even call on KGL to be made a technical service provider. If you come to NLA, we have two technical service providers. We have Simnet Ghana Limited and we have Lot Services. These two technical service providers are more or less giving us a technological infrastructure where if you go to the kiosk and you stake, it hit their server, and NL also have their own server. The same thing is replicated there. At the end of the day, NLA knows how much of sales have gone onto the platform of Lot and Simnet. That sales volume is what determines the commission that NLA is supposed to pay Simnet and Lot services. Same can be done for KGL in terms of the use of the USSD. So KGL, as far as we, the union, we are concerned, must be made a technical service provider such that whatever sales go on their platform, NLA will also have a back end to be able to know the volume of sales, which will form the basis of commission we have to pay him. Not that revenue should be hitting their platform. We don't know how much is it, yet our board has managed to agree on a certain amount of money to be paid per annum. What is the basis? So as far as we are concerned, all these third-party contracts, including the banker-to-banker, they are void and they are null vis-a-vis the Act 722. We need to begin to do the right thing. Government needs money to develop this country. And one of the things that worries me is that it does appear that even the media and the government don't really pay much attention to the lottery industry. I heard that in the latter part of 80s, National Lottery happened to be the second highest revenue generating institution for government. Late 80s. In the 90s, they were among the top 4. Today, you listen to a budget that is being read in Parliament, and you cannot even hear the mention of NLA on the revenue side of government budget. And it does appear that nobody cares. Government doesn't even put in one Ghana cedi in the management of NLA. We pay our own salary. Even though the act says that in the event that we are overwhelmed in terms of heavy winds, we should fall on the consolidated fund, but it has never happened before. If they win us heavily, we work and pay. So government doesn't even put one cedi in the operations and activities of NLA. And that is the more reason why they need to pay attention to NLA and rake in revenue. But little attention is paid. And it does appear that the media is also not so much interested because probably government allocation doesn't go to manage NLA. So the media is also not so much paying attention. And I keep saying that if government has an institution that they don't put rep or money there, yet there is a possibility that government can rake in revenue, that is where government needs to pay more attention. And the media must also do so. So we will stop at nothing except to ensure that the president step in this situation and make sure that all these contracts are reviewed immediately. And in fact, we are calling for the suspension of all these third-party contracts so that we can go into the discussions around it and get value for money for the government, for NLA, and also improve the welfare of staff of NLA. We will stop at nothing. And our last resort is that we may be forced to stop the draw because we cannot be drawing. We cannot be using our machine to be drawing for people to be somewhere under the guise of this illegal contract benefiting at the expense of the state. It cannot happen again. We will not allow it. So we are just started. We have the intention to go to the presidency, and we will do this thing in collaboration with the thousands of LMCs who have lost their jobs as a result of this contract. It cannot happen. Government is struggling to create jobs.
Eric, a few things. First, you said it's not the first time you have raised this. Initially, when the contract was signed, you raised it. What was the explanation given to you?
Well, not to. I have a copy of the provisional license that was even granted KGL from the onset. No, about 3 weeks ago, we decided to write officially to management demanding copies of all these third-party contracts so that we can apprise ourselves with some of the key provisions in there. We did that because we just got a wind of the fact that KGL has been given an exclusive right to operate for 25 years. We wanted to confirm that, so we wrote to management. However, we were not given. They wrote back to us and told us that due to some reasons, I don't want to mention that here, they would not be able to provide us with copies of such contracts. And in fact,
which of the contract? Was it the original contract that was with KG or the new contract, or the extension?
The reviewed one, the new one. Not only KG, but all the other third-party contracts. They are all the same. The difference between KG and the others is that KGL is using USSD. But the others are using the similar terminals that we are using. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So the nature of the contract are the same, and they are all supposed to pay some amount of money to NLA. The basis of this amount they are paying to NLA is something that we don't even, we cannot understand. Because we don't know how much accrues to them by way of revenue.
And have you raised these issues that you have with the new management?
Of course, yes. In fact, why did you go to the Attorney General Department last week? We went to Attorney General Department because when the new DG came, we met him and we presented a petition to him detailing all this. We made it clear to him that if he doesn't do anything in terms of review of all these third-party contracts, he will struggle in NLA. Then he told us that he has actually furnished the Attorney General with copies of all these third-party contracts, waiting for their advice. So it was on that basis that we have decided that, okay, initially we wanted to go and petition our supervisory ministry, which is the Ministry of Finance. But within that same time, the Minister of Finance was busy defending the budget in Parliament. So we decided to follow up to the Attorney General because these contracts are with them. So what I'm discussing with you now, we discussed with the Deputy Attorney General, Honorable Justice M. Sai. We discussed this thing with them. So yes, to answer your question, we raise it with the new Director General.
And so those are the responses you've gotten so far. And what was the response you got from the Deputy Attorney General after the conversation?
Yes, what the Deputy Attorney General told us is that, in fact, before we got there, they have even met some of the stakeholders within the lottery market, and they raised similar complaints. And so what they intend to do is to put together a committee to engage the management of NLA, the basis of which will form their advice to the current Director General. That was the response we got from the Deputy Attorney.
I see. A few things you need to clarify for me. The KGL contract, I heard you say two things. You called them LMC, and then at the same time you said they have a revenue sharing agreement. Exactly what is it?
Yes, like I said, I had copies of the first contract that was the provisional one that was granted KGL as far back as 2019 or so. And in that contract, KGL is an online LMC, right?
Online LMC.
LMC means Lotto Marketing Company. Before you can do national Lotto, you must be licensed as an LMC, as like a Lotto Marketing Company. That is the meaning of LMC.
Mm-hmm.
So KGL is an online LMC. Just as we have those who are in the kiosk and they do the Simnet and the lot.
Okay.
KGL is the online because we have to use a USSD.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So under the original contract, they were marketing on behalf of NLA.
More like a collaboration
between
of a sort.
Okay.
Yes. But the key word here is that if you are going to collaborate to do national Lotto business with NLA, you become an LMC, whether online or not. You are an LMC. And if you look at the act even imposes some duties and responsibilities on LMCs. And all these third-party contractors don't do that. Because you cannot be an LMC and the sales you make by virtue of stakes, NLA will not know. It is not in the act like that. But again, the act even says that you can even collaborate with NLA to do other form of lottery. For instance, when KGL came to NLA first, he introduced his own game, which is Lucky 3. You can go and find out. He came with Lucky 3. He was licensed in partnership or in collaboration with NLA to do Lucky 3. Some way, somehow, they metamorphose all this contract to do 590 Lotto, which is exclusive to NLA. Yes, you can do it as an LMC, but you must behave as an LMC under the law. We must know yourselves, which will form the basis of commission we give you. At best, if you want to come in as a technical service provider, because currently NLA, we don't do the USSD. So if you have that technical know-how, just like Simnet and Lot are doing, you should come in as technical service provider. Then the basis of which will form our commission that we pay to you, not you getting the revenue directly into your private account. It is alien to the act. That is why we are saying all these contracts are illegal. I have been saying this thing repeatedly anytime we are in negotiation with management, that all these third-party contracts are illegal.
So you want all of them reviewed?
It has to be reviewed with immediate effect. And I am sending this a message to the director and the new management again, that if nothing or little is done about reviewing this contract, they cannot do, and even the government will not also get any revenue from NLA. And I'm saying that they shouldn't sit aloof. They should get themselves involved because they can get so much revenue here. Yesterday, I was following your discussion, and I think that we made mention of a revenue loss of 250 million cedis between the period of 2017 to 2024.
Yes.
In actual fact, the 250 million revenue loss is per annum. It is not cumulative. So let me go. That was
you are estimating that you're losing 250 million. You lost 250 million from 2017 to.
No, I think it was just typo. It's per annum.
Okay.
Per annum.
So every year.
Look, Chief, if you can give me a minute, let me reference Auditor General report to you. Let me just point out something. The Auditor General report is a public document. You can go to their website and download it and apprise yourself. This is a report for 2018-2019 report. If you go into it, NLA recorded a surplus of 11 million. Let me just even skip the figures. This is public record you can make reference to. In 2018, NLA recorded surplus. 2019, NLA recorded surplus. You come to 2019. 2019, NLA recorded surplus. In 2020, we recorded deficit in terms of revenue. Are you following me?
Yes.
From 2018 all the way to 2019, we have recorded surplus. And I'm speaking to a public document which can be available to anybody. You can go on the website and download it and look at it yourself. From 2018 to 2019, we have recorded surplus. But in 2020, we started recording deficit. Why? Because in 2019, ending of 2019 was when all these third-party contracts started. So 2020, deficit. Come to 2021. 2021, we have recorded an increase in deficit, not only deficit, an increase in deficit. And let me just read a few of the auditors' comment here. Financial performance. The authority ended the year with a deficit of 17 million. That is as at 2021, as compared with the deficit of 780 recorded in 2020, representing a decline of 2,074% in its financial performance. The details of the authority's performance indicate for the year presented in a table. You can make reference to that table. But let me go to page 155. The total income decreased by 26.1%. Mainly, listen, the decrease of this is mainly due a decrease in lotto intake. These are Auditor General report. The decrease is due to a decrease in lotto intake. Why are we recording decrease in lotto intake? Because of this third-party contract. The people have moved. The LMCs who are people we have employed to also work and get something, they are returning their machines to us. They are insulting us. If you go to the field that, when you go, they say, you people you spoil the work. So take your machine. So it has also contributed to massive job losses. Why do we allow this to happen? Let me take you quickly to the same 2021 Auditor General report, page 156. The auditors are saying that we noted that the revenue from lotto intake, which is the authority's main revenue stream. What is lotto intake? All our LMCs you see in the kiosk, before they sell, they have to go to the bank and load credits before they can sell to stakers. The credit they load is what we call intake. It is what we call revenue. The auditors are saying that that is the major source of NLA's revenue. And so they are saying that they noted that the decline in the revenue is due to the fall in lotto intake. Now, if you look at the table there on the same page 156, by the Auditor General report, in 2017, NLA has recorded 402 million in revenue. It started falling. 2019, it fell to 349 million. 2021, 206. As at last year, we were hovering around 150 million.
From 402, you are now at what, 150 million?
As at last year, we were hovering around 150 million in terms of revenue. But I'm speaking to even the figure in front of me here. From 2017 to 2021, sales has decreased by 48.7% per the Auditor General's report. 48.7%. If you juxtapose the sales we recorded in 2017 as against last year, we are talking about a fall in revenue of around 67%. Where are we going? So it's a serious thing, and we believe that probably because nobody is bringing this to the attention of the authorities. If you once had NLA as your second highest revenue generating institution in this country before, contributing to the consolidated fund, all of a sudden, recently, when Honorable Atofosun was reading the budget at Parliament, I was listening. Just that I wasn't consistent till end. I have never heard NLA mention that they estimate this revenue coming from NLA to them. I haven't. But because I wasn't there till all the budget was read. But I can bet that if you go through that budget, NLA will not be recognized in that budget. Why? It is a state organization mandated under the Act to raise revenue for the state for development. Why are they not paying attention to the operations of NLA? Why are we mortgaging the interest of the state to private partnership? Why? It cannot be accepted again. So it is not as if we are now raising this particular matter. We try to fight it, but like I said, if you want to fight and you want to put up an effective fight, you must also time the fight. I end it there.
Thank you. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Eric. Eric Tamaklo is Chairman, Financial and Business Services Employees Union of NLA. We'll reach out to the management of NLA and also to the Attorney General where the petition has been sent, and also to KGL because they are at the center